So from February till March, I gained close to 10,000 followers, that too in less than a month. And right now, I'm going to share with you a 7-step blueprint that I followed to achieve the same. Correct? So the first thing is I understood that why am I creating content? Correct? So primarily there are 3 reasons to create content. Number 1 is to, let's say, sell a product or a service. Correct? Number 2 is to gain some sort of popularity, gain a following. And number 3 is to basically do both. Correct? Gain a following as well and sell your products and services as well. For example, something that Shamani is doing. He gained popularity and then he created a brand called Blanco, and he's basically selling perfumes on that through his popularity, right? So there are 3 reasons. Now you need to understand, why are you creating content, right? Is it to sell a service, is it to gain popularity, or is it to do both, right? Once you've understood that okay, I want to sell XYZ service, or I want to gain popularity through doing XYZ, right? Then we move on to the next stage, that is the what. Right? In what, you need to understand what kind of content are you creating. Primarily, there are 3 types of contents. First one is entertainment. Entertainment is the type of content that is going to help you gain popularity. Correct hai? But again, there is a spectrum. So, agar aapka viewer entertaining hai, then there's a chance that he is not going to buy. He's just going to find it amusing and then he'll move on to the next one. And then second is education. If your content is actually educating and the viewer is watching it, that means the viewer is serious and he or she wants to learn. Then the chances of him or her buying increases tremendously if your content is actually adding value and it's educational. Correct? Then the third type of content is edutainment, wherein you educate people while entertaining them. For example, something that Finance with Sharan is doing. What he does is that he entertains people as well and he educates them as well. Right? So in that manner, he has gained a huge following, and brands like Jupiter or other financial aspect, finance related brands come to him and market their services and products. Right? Now, that being said, there is a spectrum. For example, if your content is more entertaining, that means your viewer is less serious about buying. If your content is more educational, right, that means your viewer is more serious about buying your services. And if it's edutaining, then the viewer is again in the middle. Correct? So based on the type of viewer you want to attract, you need to understand whether you want your content to be more entertaining, educating, or edutaining. Does that make sense?
एजुटेटमेंट तो सबसे अच्छा हुआ, तो सीरियसनेस नहीं होगी पाएगी.
सीरियसनेस बीच में आ गई ना फिर, मतलब ऐसा नहीं है. Now you are right that edutainment is most definitely good because a lot of people will be attracted to it, correct? But that does not mean that it's the best in terms of conversion. Because your content is primarily educating, people that are coming to you, they want to be educated and they want more and more education and they are willing to pay for that education as well. But in terms of entertainment is like masses. So they will not pay you as much, but there are more people, so you'll get following.
Education, the seriousness is more.
Yes. So if you have, let's say, 10,000 followers and all those 10,000 followers are following you because of education, that is much better than having 10,000 followers that are following you because of entertainment. Now, once you've understood the why and the what, you've decided why you want to create content and what kind of content you want to create, then you need to understand the triangle of content creation. What this basically means is that in order to create good content, you need to have 2 out of 3 things. And those 3 things are personality. Like the first one is personality.
Content.
Second is content. And the third one is
Editing.
editing.
Right.
If you have 2 out of these 3, your content will work in the long term.
Right.
For example, if I were to talk about personality, like people that have good personality and good content, but don't do as much editing. You could say Ranveer Allahbadia, Beer Biceps, his podcasts, right? His podcasts don't have as much editing. चीजें उड़ के नहीं आ रही है, right? It's very simple, minimal, just 2 people are talking. So in that, it's all about personality and content of the people that are talking. Then comes personality and editing. Now in this, the content could be anything, could be something rubbish as well, but the editing is so good that you still watch it. And then the third is content and editing. So for example, if I were to give you an example of Mohak Mangal, now he does not show as much personality in his content, but what he does do is that he creates really good content. The topics that he talks about, they are really good, they are filled with a lot of juice, and the way he edits them is also wonderful. Correct? Because of these 2 things, he's grown a lot as well. Right? So figure out, let's say if you have one of these things, you have personality, or you have content, or you have good editing skills. Whichever one you have, think about which one do you want to support with. For example, if you have good personality, right, then would you rather, instead of working upon the content, would you rather make the editing good? Or instead of working upon the editing, would you rather make the content good? Right? So in my opinion, having a good personality and good content is more effective than having a good personality and good editing, because I believe that content is actually
The king.
Yeah, honestly. Right? Now if you are good at all 3, that's even better. For example, Vivek Bindra, he has good personality as well, he has good content as well, and the editing that he does it's also at the highest end. He has more than 20 million subscribers on YouTube. Correct? So you can have all 3 as well. That gives you a different edge altogether. Right? But even in content and editing alone, people that have really, really good content and really good editing as well. For example, Mr. Beast. Now his personality, it's not bad, but it's not the best as well. So because of his content, because his content is so freaking good and his editing is so freaking good, he has the most amount of subscribers on YouTube. Correct? So you have to decide what combination do you want. That was the triangle of content. Now the 4th thing you need to understand is that the first impressions of your content, whether it's Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, the first impression determines the clicks, the impressions, the views. Right? And what do I mean by first impression? For example, on YouTube, the first impression is the thumbnail you have created and the title you have on your video. On Instagram, the first impression is the first 2 to 3 seconds of your video. Right? जो है उधर और जो नीचे, for example, जो एक caption भी आ जाता है उसमें. That is your first impression. On LinkedIn, the first impression is the first 2 lines of whatever you've written and the post. Your job, in order to get the most amount of visibility, is to make the first impression as strong as possible. Correct? So once you understand that YouTube का ये है, Instagram का ये है, LinkedIn का ये है, then let's talk about how do you nail it. कि इतना अच्छा हो कि भाई मजा आ जाए. Now again, for this you need to revisit the what. Are you the what? Like what kind of content are you creating? Is it educational? Is it entertaining? Or is it edutaining? If it's educational, the content that you are creating is educational, then what you need to do is that you need to drive a lot of emotion in terms of, it could be just say thumbnail, whatever thumbnail they are watching, they watch it and they get really excited, or they just get really curious that no, I need to watch this, what is this, right? So that is for entertaining. But for educational content, you need to give them clarity that what exactly are they getting, because the person that is clicking for entertainment, he just wants to feel a surge of emotion, but a person that is clicking for education, he wants to know what he or she is getting.
Knowledge.
Correct? Knowledge. So the thumbnail should convey that. For example, in the video of let's say all of Alex Hormozy or whatever, when he or she creates educational content, he shows a board that is exactly like this and him in front of it and him just saying exactly what the viewer is going to get through the video. Right? So that is
a CA bhi hai. There's a CA who also does like that.
Absolutely. Because the viewer gets clarity that yes, this is exactly what I'm going to get out of this person's content. And that is why they watch it. Right? So nail the first impression. Now, once the thumbnail and the title, basically the first segment of the video is sorted, then you need to work upon building credibility and authority. What does this mean? For example, if it's an entertaining content, you need to hook them from the beginning by giving them something entertaining. अगर entertaining video है but starting के 3-4 सेकंड या 15 सेकंड boring है, गया. Right? So in the beginning itself, you need to build credibility. And let's say if it's an educational content, then the way to build credibility is to demonstrate authority. For example, in the beginning of this talk, in the beginning of this session, I let you know about the fact that how I gained 10,000 followers in less than a month. Because of that, whenever I say that, okay, I gained 10,000 followers in less than a month, guess what happens? They take me more seriously when I talk about content creation. Right? And that is why they will listen to me with more intent. Right? They'll take me more seriously. So that gives me credibility. Correct? So once you have built that credibility, they will develop more trust in you and they'll watch your content for longer. And then the seventh thing is give them a reason to watch till the end. Correct? Okay? Why should I watch this till the end? What am I going to get? For example, in the entertaining section, the reason for them to watch them till the end is a revelation, a thrill, kuch spoiler, matlab something that they are going to get towards the end of the video that's going to make them laugh or cry or whatever, or give a surge of emotion. So in an entertaining video, the emotion is the reason. Constant driving of those emotions, constant build up. But in an educational video, you telling them that how it's going to, after watching the entire video, how it's going to affect their life, right? Then they are much more likely to watch it till the end. Correct? So this is a 7-step blueprint on how I gained 10,000 followers in less than a month. So step 1, figure out your why, right? Why do you want to create content? Then what kind of content do you want to create? Triangle of content creation, right? Personality, content, editing. So 2 out of these 3 things you need. First impressions of your content, whether it's YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, how can you nail that? And nailing the first impression. How can you nail that first impression? Right? As soon as you start, what can you do? Right? How do you build credibility? So as soon as they're on the video and they've started watching it, how can you build their trust so that they believe what you're saying is true? And then the reason for them to watch it till the end. You follow these 7 steps in every piece of content that you create, you are bound to gain followers, subscribers, whatever is the metric of that platform. Okay? So that's all from my side. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next one.